So this is a different kind of video than you're used to seeing on this channel, and if you know me personally, you know this is something that really interests me. On the outside you see big Kmart, and you see store closing, and what interests me about this is not so much the actual store itself, but how these stores go from, the top of the mountain all the way down to closing sales and liquidation. Modern retail really interests me, and to see how these great companies just decline so quickly, or in Kmart's case, it's been happening for a very long time, but to see how they just end up. So I stopped at our Kmart store, which is on Nicholasville Road in Lexington, Kentucky. It is the last one in Lexington, and actually, as I edit this video and do this voiceover, it's actually closed. This was filmed last week when they had 4 days left open, and the overall impression I had in this store was how dirty it was. Now, if you've been to a Kmart store, you might feel like it's kind of stuck in the mid 90s or the mid 80s maybe, and this one really feels that way because they've never really renovated it. It's never really been remodeled. The only thing you might see new is the signage, but for the most part, a lot of the shelving, a lot of the fixtures, a lot of it is just very, very outdated. And to me, for someone like me, that's really interesting, something that I like to see because I like to connect it to the past. But at the same time, for your average everyday shopper, there's so many other options. On Nicholasville Road alone, there's Meijer, there's Target, there's a Walmart, and there's dozens of other little specialty stores. So, and the mall, of course, the Fayette Mall. So Kmart really, in a sense, never really tried to compete with these stores by updating their appearance. And as you can see, everything is all sales final. Everything is, finito. It's over. All the fixtures. Because a lot of times, you see stores do closing sales and then they open back up. Aeropostale has done that recently. I think Gordon's is also doing that. But for Kmart, as you can see, it is the end of the line. Everything must go. One of the most interesting things I found was, first off, that was kind of odd too, just to see someone who may have helped fight childhood cancer. But here's the layaway department, and if you look around this corner here, you're going to see in just a second how outdated these back rooms are. Now, I didn't go into the back room, obviously, because they're still cleaning things out, and I didn't want to trespass or anything of that. So if you look back here, the walls have this just wood grain on this wood paneling on the walls, something I've not seen in a store in years. If you also look around here, these old pallets, this gift card stand is kind of new, but there's also an older one for batteries that is pretty outdated, and it just amazes me how it's still being put in use. Now, we have another Kmart store a couple of towns over, and you could tell it's still in a similar condition to this one. This is really one of the more poignant things for me. The blue light was for sale, and it actually had been sold, I believe, for $38.50. And if you know Kmart, that is the enduring sign of Kmart, is the blue light. So the blue light special would alert people to special deals in the store, and to see that someone had actually bought it kind of disappointed me, because had I gotten there, I probably would have bought it myself because I'm weird like that and I love things like that. But it's a piece of American history. And another thing over here that you don't really see too often anymore outside of maybe your mall stores like Dillard's or something like that, Kmart used to be known for having Olin Mills portrait studios in them. And I'm not sure if I filmed it or not, I might have, but they used to have these Olin Mills portrait studios where you could take your family photos. Yeah, it's actually right behind this curtain right here. I actually did film it. I didn't go in here because there was employees back here, but if you take a look at this big shelf here was actually sold too. I was kind of disappointed. Could have used that for my sneakers, but if you take a look here, the portrait studio had not been touched in years. It's a storage room. You still see the paint splatter on the wall. Much of the decor was in the 90s at Kmart stores. But I think the biggest problem Kmart had outside of just, competition was they just never really updated their entire stores. They never really visually changed. They stayed a visual representation of the 90s and 80s, which for someone like me who's interested in that kind of stuff, it worked for. But for your average everyday shopper, it just looked dirty. It just looked dusty. It looked outdated. It looked like it was just, very, very, I don't even know what the word would be, rustic, maybe, modernly rustic. And to me, it's sad because I love Kmart stores. It's where my family used to shop when I was a kid. And, even though it's slightly more expensive than other stores, and really you're going to have a hard time finding anything you really need there sometimes, It's still good to see these stores still going, but for this one, this is our last one, so I'll have to go over another town now to stop in a Kmart store. But as you can see, this one is pretty much done. And when I was there was only 4 sales racks left. The pharmacy had been diverted to Meijer, so I think all the Meijer stores in our area at least are taking over these Kmart pharmacy customers. But to me, yeah, everything in the thing that hurt Kmart was just never really embracing the future, never adapting. So that's all I've got for this one, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's kind of different from what you're usually used to seeing on this video, on this channel. But this is something I'm really interested in, so I thought I'd share it with you guys, and maybe I'll do some more in the future. So thank you guys. Subscribe if you like what you saw today, and I will catch up with you guys next time.